What's up YouTube, Car Boss here, back with another video where we talk about cards, money, investing. Today's video, we're going to address a very simple but very old question. PC versus investment. Alright, so this video is actually inspired by one viewer who sent me a question, and the question goes like this. He or she is basically a collector of Psylocke, X-Men character, right? Beautiful, gorgeous looking character. Who wouldn't like Psylocke? And I would assume that this person's been collecting Psylocke a number of years now. And this person's, observation of what's going on in the Marvel market, which is what we are seeing today, escalation in prices, talking about the Royal Foils, the PMGs, the Jambalayas, right? And the question is, should this person actually be channeling funds to invest in these sort of pieces so that, to try and make some profit and then maybe rechannel back the profit into that person's PC? Now, this is obviously a very good idea, and I'm truly supportive of this idea, but we just want to explore this particular concept a bit further. So before that, let's talk a bit about the cards and what's happening in the Marvel market recently. So we all know that the popular stuff like the PMGs, the Jambalayas, even the Royal Foils have gone up in prices tremendously in the last 60 to 90 days. Right? You're talking about 3x, 4x, 5x, even some cases 10x. It's just gone bonkers, right? Completely. So outside looking in, I can see why there's a draw into put some money into this sort of assets, because there is, of course, opportunity to make profits in such a relatively short term. But of course, comparing to investing in, I would say, 6 months ago or 9 months ago, the risk factor is definitely much higher, considering that how much cost base for all these cards have gone up really high. Like a PMG back in, let's say, 6 months ago, you buy on average, let's say, about $500 for PMG, maybe sell it for like $2,000, $2,500, so that's a nice 5x. Today, the cost base of entering the PMG, even though let's say you talk about $2,000 and to try and make like let's say like $4,000 or $5,000, is still good return, okay? And the multipliers are still there, but it's definitely riskier to put a high cost base of $2,000 on a particular card, right? Even though you look at the potential, it is not an easy decision to make for a lot of people. So depending on your budget, right, and how much you actually spend on your Marvel collection, so therefore it comes down to whether or not what kind of cards and how many cards that you plan to, or what's the investment goal that you have to pump into this sector of the Marvel space in order to fuel your PC. Okay, so I would assume that Psylocke cards, looking at most general Psylocke cards except for PMGs and a few others, right? So those are actually relatively priced quite well. So I would say like a couple $100 at most, right? You could get a good Psylocke card. Whereas when you're talking about all these bigger stuff, you're talking about things that's in the thousands, high hundreds or even a thousand. So that's a whole different ball game. And if your budget doesn't really accommodate for that, it's going to be very, very challenging. However, this is actually a rewarding process, as what I mentioned to you earlier. So I'm going to take you guys through a story that I did on my own personal account, and this is not Marvel related, right? So this is back into my time of Magic the Gathering. So what I have here, can you have a good look, right? It's a 1993 beta edition Mox Emerald, right? This is one of the original Power 9s from the beta edition, not the alpha, okay, but still one of the big grails of Magic the Gathering. And this was a particular card that I've been chasing for a number of years because I'm a vintage Magic card collector, having to play Magic for the last 20 over years. So this was one particular grail piece that I was actually highly coveting. But by the time I was actually looking for this card in around the late 2019, or maybe 2018, right, this card has become a $25,000 card, which was a very hard piece to chase. Okay, so the price escalation wasn't just happen overnight. It was actually escalating between 2016 to 2018, and that was the high period of Magic the Gathering investing, similar to what we're seeing with the PMGs now actually. So when I was looking for this particular piece, it was not actually very easy to get up because people were extremely high on it, and the cost base of this card was so expensive, like how we see PMGs, right? The decision making process is pretty much the same. So what I needed to do was to actually reconsider whether or not I should invest in some other pieces first, okay, and then to try to use the profits to move into this particular card. And that's exactly what I did. So it involved a number of transactions, right? A lot of hard work, going into a lot of research on non-vintage stuff to try to make those kind of profits and then recycle back into this particular piece. Eventually the cost base for this piece wasn't like $25,000. It was much lower. I think the number was about like $15,000 to $18,000. So, and the difference is through all the profits that I attained in that short period of time to try to flip cards and move into this piece. So obviously I feel good about this particular investment, and this is something that I plan to keep for a long period of time, and this was a price I was comfortable paying as well. Look, 25k is a lot of money for a lot of people, but having to flip the number of transactions and make profits along there to help build the PC, that's what it's all about, right? So coming back to your question, in similar situations, right, I don't know what other pieces of Psylocke that you're chasing. Maybe there's a big, huge grill piece of Psylocke that you're after, but definitely there is some, during this period, there is some avenue or some room for you to make certain profits by moving into these kind of cards. Though I would recommend lots and lots of research, again, not simply just buying into the hype. There are a lot of people who are just throwing numbers out there. They are, whenever there's buyers, there's always sellers, right? So these guys are trying to make as much profit as they can, and you guys are trying to buy in low so that you can make the next round of profit. So it comes down to research, and it comes down to doing your homework, and it comes down to negotiation as well. But as long that you stay the course in your mind, right, what you want to do with the cards when you buy them, right? So if you have a set goal about, okay, I'm going to buy this Wolverine for, let's say, $800, and I'm going to either grade or find a buyer to sell it for $1,200, make the $400, and then reflip and do this kind of things, all with the purpose of channeling back to your PC, that's great. So the danger will come whereby if you're being too attached to certain investments, right, that emotional attachment can actually happen, and that's a danger because prices don't stay high forever, right? They will go up to a certain point, they will plateau, they will come down, but if your main goal is to funnel into your PC, stick to that goal. Make profits is fine, but stick to the goal. All right, cool. I hope that addresses your question, right? And that's a quick short one I have for today. Do like and subscribe for next coming video. I got a couple of more good content that's coming up. So thanks for watching. Carboss out.